CPS is the agency that's charged with protecting children.
Its investigators and caseworkers make decisions that impact the lives of thousands of Texas families.
So who are the people making these life-changing decisions?
CBS 42 investigative reporter Nancy Wilson looked into the backgrounds of child welfare workers. What she found may surprise you.
Assault, burglary, DWI, theft, domestic violence, indecent exposure, prostitution, possession of cocaine and marijuana, and selling alcohol to minors. What do all of these crimes have in common? They are just some of the crimes committed by people who work for the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. That's right, the agency in charge of protecting Texas children. We found more than 370 employees have a criminal background. Some have direct contact with foster kids.
He was really uncomfortable to be around. He always wanted to be a little too close.
Here's one, yeah. Ashley Gallardo is talking about one of her former caseworkers. Romanus Ike was arrested and charged with indecent exposure after being caught performing a sex act on himself in a public park. He later pled guilty to a reduced charge of disorderly conduct.
God, this guy was in my life. He was in charge of me and my brothers. He made decisions for us.
She was shocked to learn of his past.
At that time, I'm going to school. I'm a young girl, and this guy, what he did is disgusting. It's really just perverted, and it's disgusting. That's all I can say. Like, how could anybody let him be around kids? Like, that's just gross.
It was no secret that at the time of his arrest, he worked for CPS. It's written on his bail bond. That was in 1998, and he's still on the job. Richard Landon was arrested for indecent exposure in 1997, and in 1994, he was arrested for prostitution after soliciting an undercover cop. He also works for the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. Cordelia Jones is a CPS investigator. She's currently on probation for a drug possession charge out of Williamson County. This CPS investigator, Cynthia Creighton, has numerous criminal cases in her background. She still owes $193 in fines for driving with an invalid license. David Mendoza pled guilty to assault with bodily injury to a family member and violating a protective order. He's a CPS supervisor in El Paso.
It's unacceptable.
State Representative Pat Rose chairs the committee that oversees the agency.
I think there are several solutions. The first is to make sure we get all background checks from across all states and any convictions. We can do that by requiring an FBI fingerprint background check on the front end of employment. And then as we move forward, we have to have annual background checks here to make sure that all current employees who have direct access to kids don't have these convictions.
Ashley Gallardo agrees.
We trust these people. They're all we have in the end because we're just taken away from our families. That's all we have.
CPS declined an interview for the story, but it did provide information about its policies. Now, the department does do criminal background checks within the state of Texas when someone is hired. Employees are then required to self-report any arrest or convictions. The department also does annual background checks on employees whose jobs it is to approve foster homes for the placement of children.